All right, everyone. Welcome to Base True Brew Crew. I'm joined here with several of my fellow friends. I'm Nate, of course. We've got Jacob, Evan, and Owen with us today. Am I missing out on anyone?
No. We got Mice House OG.
Mice House OG. Wow, that's true. It is all of us, isn't it? Wow. Well, in case you're wondering, if you want to know about Mice House, check out some of our earlier content, specifically focused on our time at our wonderful little school that we went to. And we all lived together, so that was a treat.
I don't remember what episode that was, so just be safe. Listen to 1 through 14.
Yeah. In fact, listen to all of them multiple times.
Yeah. And leave a comment, subscribe below, please.
Yeah.
And like, please.
Yeah.
It'll only take a day.
Subscribing will take a day?
And you may or may not lose brain cells.
Yeah.
I think this is episode 15. I think this is a milestone.
No, there's no way we can number them.
The big 1-5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
we're having our this is our podcast quinceañera.
I think this is the first time that we've had a podcast within a month of the previous one.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And I think not within a week.
Within a week. That's really good.
Or on the week. Yeah.
On the week.
That is pretty good.
Wow. Well, we are for at least for the next 3 weeks, we will have content for you. Who knows what will happen after that? But earlier this week, I sent out what we were going to talk about. And I didn't want to focus too much on the COVID portion because that's just everyone's COVID. Everything's happening COVID, whatever these days. But I am interested to know how sort of lockdown has changed your life. And for some people, it's a chance for them to be more creative with the time that they have home alone or with the other people in their house. And for some people, they're just sort of waiting it out, right? They're just sort of watching a lot of Netflix and waiting till life goes back to normal. And so I'm just interested to know what you guys have been doing because I don't even know what the hell I've been doing. I don't know if I've been more creative or more lazy, you know?
That's relatable.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a little bit of a bookend on what we were talking about last week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cohesion between our podcasts. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, in terms of creativity for me, I've had, and some of you guys can attest to this because occasionally I'll send out, like, hey, I had this idea. Is this a bad idea? Or should I do it? And sometimes it's like a script that I want to write for a series or whatever. And sometimes I'll, like, focus in and, like, get my cork board out and, like, map things out, but then it won't work for like 2 more months after that because I got one really good night in. But a few weeks ago, it was probably a few weeks ago, I know Nate, we've been talking about doing something creative together, filming something, and having someone else to hold me accountable to bounce off of has probably increased my productivity a lot. I don't want to put a number on it, but a lot.
Well, I think that's how all of us got through school the way that we did. I mean, let's think about this. All of us kind of held each other somewhat accountable because we all had work to do, but we all wanted to have fun as well. So in order for us to have fun in our house when we could throw parties and stuff, I mean, we needed to get our work done, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good point. I think I am also heavily motivated by everybody else doing their work and being good about it. I definitely, if I don't, I'm definitely like the once every 2 months kind of work ethic.
Yeah, like just walking into our house. Yeah, walking into our house and seeing like all of you guys like working at the table, and I'm like, well, I was about to go play Kingdom Hearts 3, but now I feel like a fool.
Yep. Well, don't worry because most of the time we were working there, Evan Quinter would have all of his stuff in front of him, but he would actually be sleeping.
Yeah.
No, but he'd still be working. He'd still be productive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely would be.
He walks that fine line.
You didn't need to roast me that hard, but it's also completely true. Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't a roast. That was pure just enjoyment of life back then, you know? The little things. If I can get excited about the fact that you sat at the table and were sleeping at the table with all of us doing work. That means, that was a moment in my life that I can't forget. You know.
I do miss my house very dearly. Jacob, you bring and Owen, you both kind of bring up a point that a former teacher of all of us and a director for four of us would often lecture about is the difference between internal and external motivation.
Sure.
And so I'm wondering, yeah, do we all kind of see ourselves as external motivators, or just people that need that external like influence,
that extra push?
I think for me it's kind of like situationally dependent. That's a word. Like there will be times. So I have an idea that I'm trying to work through as like a series called Loser right now. And I have this idea for a 6-episode series. And it's a thing where, like, I finished 10 pages of script and I sent it off to people to see, hey, am I on the right track? And that is a good motivator for me to kind of get the feedback from people. Say, hey, yeah, this is good, or hey, this is something you might want to think about. But also just, like lying awake at night and just being like, I can do something about this. I keep putting it off and just kind of getting in my own head about, hey, you keep talking about it, but you're not actually doing it. I think in that way, my own anxiety pushes me, I guess, is a way to say that.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how that differs from a creative standpoint to somebody who's in maybe a hard science or something. So at least two of us went through school and continue to do like creative video work and creative storytelling, right? And then more of us have gone other routes and have used their creativity elsewhere. I wonder how that's different, Yeah, I don't know. It's just
yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I was gonna say that like both Nate and Jacob have much more of a liberal education, that it's more natural for you guys to go through creative and just through your own work. But yeah, you're right in that, like for Evan, Owen and I, it's a little bit more difficult. Like luckily with what I'm doing, with brewing, it's more on the creative side because I'm constantly doing like recipe creation and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't know for like for Owen, you're in even more structured science. Like, yeah, I don't know what you do.
And that's exactly what I'm thinking, is that for Owen, if he were to, complete a lot of work, or he were able to do something huge at his job, and he were to tell me, I mean, I can't necessarily contribute to that, but for Jacob to send me a piece of his work and for me to read it over and contribute, that's a different kind of motivation. Whereas if you were reaching out and just to chat, just to find, I could excite you about other things, but for Jacob, when he sends me his work, I can excite him about his work, right? It's just a little different dynamic.
I do miss that as well. I mean, being in the work that I'm at, there's kind of there's different motivators. And I think that's the whole point of that internal versus external kind of talk. And especially what our former professor was trying to point out, which is that, well, the optimistic way to take that point is that, hey, you have both in your life. And you grow up with a lot of external motivations, and that part of maturing is finding the internal ones as well.
Right.
But I think the optimistic way to take that as well is to say, well, it's not that you have to be completely internally motivated, like this kind of self-reliant sort of stoic creature, but that you have to be realistic, and that you have to have both in your life, and that if you don't, it can be unhealthy. But I will say, for my work, there's kind of it reminds me almost of like team workouts back when I was a college athlete, which I'm no longer any kind of athlete. But But it reminds me of this kind of like there's this kind of like internal uh drive when what you're doing is you know exactly what you're doing, and you're what's important is not accomplishing anything, but kind of getting through it in a way, like a workout is, and that it's not you're not like, I mean, there's certain workouts where you're like, wow, I accomplished a new PR of lifting or something like that. But I think most workouts are simply the the goal is I'm gonna finish, I'm gonna get through my work,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna get through a lot of work. You know, I'm gonna increase my reps or increase my distance or whatever it is. And it's the same idea when we're, you know, for the uh, testing lab, which is that there's no single, it's not like we can work on a script and then have this kind of accomplishment at the end, or not even have an accomplishment at the end, but just have that goal of, you know, this is a thing we're working on. It's more like there's a process that you're a part of, and that what you accomplish is like doing a good job and having a good day's work. You know what I mean? It's almost, I think, the difference between like a blue collar sort of work ethic and uh and well, that it is a blue collar work ethic, which is that it's not about uh anything but the kind of day to day uh work.
Right.
And there's something really kind of zen about that, and really calming. Even if your back hurts and your knees are tired and you know your hands are swelling up because you have to wear 3 layers of gloves and all, you know, all the kind of shitty physical stuff. There's the kind of like zen that I get where it's like, okay, like I know I can just kind of put my head down and get through numbers, you know.
Right.
And there's something really nice about that. But I would say that is almost entirely internal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that gives you a little view into into different into, I guess, if that answers your question, kind of
Yeah.
to
It
how I
sure
see it.
does.
yeah, because
It sure does.
I mean, to me, like it's interesting you make that point because I think I respond to quantifiable motivations well. But the problem with things like script writing and video making is that doesn't exist so much. Like
Right.
you can set a goal like I want to get this like this many pages done by the end of the week. But if you're even when you're in the script writing process, but especially when you're like me with in the early stages of creatively figuring out the structure of the story, who the characters are, and building the world, there's not much to quantify about that. It's really just getting into that headspace. And if you're not in that headspace, then it's about knowing yourself and how you can push yourself into the headspace, whether it's the environment or just taking care of other things that you need to do in your life or things like that. It's a tough thing that I've been having to deal with recently, is not having that quantifiable motivator there.
Yeah.
That's tough too, because that's what's so beautiful about the arts, is that they're not quantifiable.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we see such meaning, but it makes it difficult. I think that's kind of where there's a little bit of an underrated value to artistry and of different forms, but especially media, because or you know, like kind of Hollywood or whatever, because you kind of, there's this like fame and fortune kind of image there, that people don't realize that there's actually a lot of very difficult work that goes on that probably doesn't get as much attention, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But the fame and fortune is the quantified part of it, which is why a lot of
Right.
artwork doesn't get the recognition it needs.
Right.
We, as a society, look at like numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's interesting. So that kind of brings us back to the whole idea. So I'm actually interested because Jacob, you were saying, this is Jacob Novak. You were saying, you know, sometimes you feel motivated and you get a whole bunch done, and then for 2 months you feel like you've lacked the creativity needed. Do you think that's and this can go to you too, Owen, and everyone else, but do you think that's a result of the situation we're in, with sort of being alone so many times and stuff like that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because like for the first few months probably of the whole lockdown thing, I was making cracking jokes about like, oh, this is how I live my life usually, so it's fine by me. But like as time has gone on, especially in the past couple of months, I've definitely felt that lack of communication and collaboration with other people. It just kind of hits me and gets me down, because I don't know, it just puts me in this zone that's hard to be productive in, or makes it hard for me to push myself outside of that. And so it is kind of mentally tough right now. But like I said, just like the prospect of like going up to you and filming something over a weekend has that alone has pushed me more than I've been able to push myself in the past few months, which is partially like on me. Like I should try to find ways to motivate myself, but there is something to be said about having people around you.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that though. Maybe that is the way you motivate yourself. Like I don't think you should necessarily feel bad about that. I think maybe you're just learning about how you get more productive. And if you get more productive,
that's the way the world motivates itself. You're not the only one in here.
Yeah. Which in a way that does help with storytelling, because I feel like the more you learn about yourself, the more you understand about a story you're trying to tell. Yes. Because inherently stories that you tell have something to do with how you feel internally. So I guess it is kind of a give and take there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's just really fascinating to me.
I am curious. This is somewhat tangential. Tangential? Sure.
I think you got
words today. I love it.
But I have been thinking, like, I mean, this isn't even specific to lockdown. It's kind of just since we graduated. I've been struggling with how to let out the musical or more hobbyist creative side. Because, I mean, like, there are the four of us that were in choir, and then Nate, Jacob, and we were in band and jazz ensemble and things like that.
Evan.
And Evan, yeah.
And Evan, that's right. We were the jazz house.
Over on the keys, yeah.
Except for Owen. But Owen, we were going to try to get him to sing with us.
Yeah, we were trying to give you a triangle or something, but it didn't take.
That's right. Cymbals. Owen and the cymbals. He can play the cowbell. More cowbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that.
And, like, here and there, I'll, like, feel the inspiration to go arrange this one barbershop song that I listened to. And that'll take a few days, and then once that's over, it's like, okay, well, I can't sing it with anybody, so what now? Yeah. And so I'm wondering how you guys have been filling that kind of void recently. I mean, I know, Evan, you've been working on like actual things for people to play and perform or whatever.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah. So there's a singer-songwriter in State College, and he wants 3 of his songs arranged for strings, and we started like late September. My drive to work on this is so low. Oh my god. And it's tough because you know, like we've been saying, there are like spurts or like days where it is all coming together, and I'm thinking, oh my god, this is it. Like I have to like put this down right now. You know, I have to, you know, fuck work. You know, I have to, I have to transcribe this right now. And then like a week or two will go by, and I like will barely even think about that. And that's and that's shitty, because it's not only am I not giving this project the energy that it deserves, but in that time I'm losing a lot of the ideas that are coming in those spurts, and it sucks because, you know, like you can think back and you're like, oh, that was great, but what was it? And now I can't remember. Fuck. So
gotta carry a notepad with you at all times, brother. I literally do that because I get great ideas and I lose them right off the bat. Like I'll think of stuff in the weirdest places and I need to write it down Because when you're doing creative stuff, you never know when those thoughts are coming in.
100%. And I tried to start writing stuff down, but like for music, it's weird. Like I'm looking at kind of like the outline I made for this right now. Guys, like some of my notes for this are like fucking bonkers. Like
Can you not read them?
No, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I tried to like show like the path of the melody in the height of the words I was writing.
I love that.
Oh my god, it just looks like I don't know what was happening. Yeah, so that was not working for me. But I've actually just started like recording videos of myself, just like, and it's like, I will be full honest, it's just my full face like in the camera. And they're like 5 to 10 seconds, but it's just a specific like note or melody that I want. And yeah, and that has really helped. But and maybe this is a question for y'all because I do not have the answer. It still doesn't help the productivity side of it, and I hate to like put a productivity to like a creative thing that we're doing. We should be doing things just for the sake of doing things.
Right. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's something you love.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that part has helped with not losing the ideas, but it hasn't helped with the actual working on it. So that's kind of where I am now with it. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I want to get to that, but what are some of the things that you're filling in as sort of like a filler for what you would usually be doing? Like for me, I'm not reading as much and not doing as much work when I don't have the interest to do it. So I'm watching a lot of Netflix and feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
What are the things that you're getting into?
It's it's YouTube. We love YouTube.
Oh my
goodness. Shout out the Brew Crew on YouTube.
Check us out.
There's also a actually I have another Discord account that is separate from this one, and it is a group of like queer athletes united. And quite honestly, like I just joined that like 2 weeks ago, and my god, they don't stop talking. It's like an endless group chat. Holy shit! But but it has been really nice to like, I don't know, it's weird because I have you guys, like you guys are my community, absolutely. But now to find another group that like talks truly every day, it's wonderful to meet like new people that way, because quite honestly, like in DC, I like have not met really like that many people, and I'm sure that also plays into the lack of motivation. But it's a nice to find this new group of people, but it's also incredibly distracting. And like I will notice an hour or even 2 hours go by, and I'm like, oh shit, like I just lost all that, and now I have to like run to work. Shit. So
yeah.
Huh. I think your line about lack of motivation is very true for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like Jacob, more to like your question before about like being connected to music and what we're doing after that, after graduating. I had written a couple songs actually after graduating, but
oh really?
As times, yeah, just piano music. One was for Becca's biking trip.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, but as time's gone on, I used to hear melodies in my head all the time, but I don't know if it's sad. If it's because I'm more distracted or emotionally, I'm not invested as much into it, but it's kind of tapered off as time's gone on.
Sure.
We got to find that back, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's partially a symptom of the pandemic and just not having motivation to do things that you normally want to.
Well, you want to hear
One
something
thing
pretty?
that
Well, you can keep
Yeah.
going, then I'll tell you.
one thing that I just saw recently is that young men have been the most affected emotionally by this pandemic compared to the people that are older or even women. And I didn't read far into it, but it's interesting that we're emotionally most affected. And I definitely felt that, and that I kind of drag along through the days, having like moments of time where I'm really motivated to do things, and then others where I just go straight to YouTube and kind of just spend my time that way. So it's kind of to Nate, to your earliest question of how you're spending time now with creativity, and I think it's at times I'm more creative, but majority I think I have kind of just seen this as waiting it out.
Yeah.
Nate, before you jump in, Jacob, I feel like you have a really unique perspective out of all of us because I feel like you are like a very broad learner, and that like you are like always interested in like a lot of things, and you have like various hobbies, and one of the like brewing, for example. And now you've made that into your profession for the moment. So I guess my question to you is like, how for these ways to stay motivated, even with its music or if it's brewing, like how do you find ways to keeping interested in it and keeping curious?
Yeah, so one way is going back to school. So it's a way to be like, I'm going to brew school right now, and that's just because I was curious, but it kind of goes back to self-motivation versus external. And I do think I'm a much more external learner where I need that prompt to get me to learn more. That's not with everything, but I need that little extra push to kind of further my knowledge. And so having that brewing school has definitely motivated me to do that, where it's more of a structured class, and where I'll be able to learn. But I don't know. I think I have this varied interest just because I had a lot of siblings, and growing up I was always interested and curious in what they were doing. So I never settled on one thing. It's probably the best way to explain it.
Sure.
But I wonder, a question for you guys is like, do you think you're more externally motivated or internally?
External.
Yeah. External, definitely. I'm also an extrovert, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah. Case in point here on the podcast. I wonder if I think I've seen a similar study, Jacob, that showed that young men. Well, I do know that there's a lot of evidence that shows that when young men lack purpose, that they tend to engage in more self-destructive activities like drinking and substance abuse and video games and or like violence or crimes. And I wonder if that's probably related to the already difficult job market, but then a tough economy for young men coming out of a college, and then not being able to find some kind of purpose, to kind of, to, I don't know, how cure their sort of internal demons, of laziness, and kind of turn to those, or drugs or whatever it may be, or video games.
Right.
I mean, I'm curious. I don't know. I think I've seen that similar studies, but I mean, and this is also, not to say that there is not suffering emotionally, or emotional, or physical suffering for other people. I mean, obviously this pandemic affects everybody in different ways. And and also that, we're talking about young men because that's what we all are.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think our perspective would be different if we weren't, included in that group. So, but yeah, it's I think it's funny how we all kind of have this similar, whether it's creative, or learning, going back to school, things like that, that there's this weird, barrier that, I think always exists, and that I remember fighting it, with either group study sessions or stuff at school, but there's that kind of barrier to productivity that maybe has gotten worse because of the pandemic. Which is that kind of lean towards, substances, or video games, or destructive things that are, or just, not productive.
There was
Right.
that
Yeah.
there was that culture at school that was really toxic of like overproductivity and
Yeah.
like working yourself to like stupid like amounts. Someone who was in orchestra with us would come in literally every rehearsal and be like, "Oh, only got 3 hours of sleep last night. Oh shit, that sounds bad. What, like, why are you bragging about that?"
Yeah.
And and that's hypocritical because I know that myself and we would also all do this, right? So it's something that we would all fall into, and now it is almost the flip of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you try to find that happy medium? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll say, I've been taking solace in, one-off acts of creativity, which is kind of how I do it anyways, but it's been, a outlet for me that has worked in the pandemic, which is that if I'm making something, or thinking of something, or creating something, if I can do it all in one go, that I can be more, uh, I can put more of my kind of energy and kind of creative mindset into it. And then it also allows me to kind of avoid that sort of, uh, guilty feeling of like, oh, I should be working on this thing, which I know obviously is depending on what project you're working on, is not possible for some things, but yeah, I've been working in the wood shop, and it only takes about 4 hours or so to complete a small wooden bowl, or a fishing lure, or a little, cup or box or thing like that, and if I can do that, then I actually feel a lot better about kind of how I've been able to use my creativity to make something, So that's a good one, and I recommend it. I recommend the one-off creative venture.
Yeah.
It's a handy one to keep you going.
This isn't a one-off creative venture, but it just reminds me, having that physical, tangible product at the end of your work. Words cannot describe how it felt when I had my first full printed out copy of the Y-Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
Being like, it's done. I'm holding it. It's not super thick, but it's a little thick.
Dude, those theses, those honors things that we did, I don't remember if you guys know or if you remember, but when Jacob and I were in the midst of writing that, I know you guys were also doing your final projects as well, but that was like sort of the culmination of everything that we worked for.
Yeah,
Yeah, I loved
I've
those.
still got
I
my
thought those
paper
were
right here.
so cool.
Yeah.
I think you guys did. I mean, I thought those were awesome. I didn't actually do a final project of that kind of magnitude, and I think it just wasn't kind of in my academic whatever pathway. It just didn't pan out for me that way. But I was so impressed by you guys doing those things. I thought they were the coolest things, and just the idea. Yeah, no, and I still do. Like, I go back and watch the Wyman every now and then just to be like, this is so fun. Like, I can't believe, And I just talked about Nate, your paper with, I forget who I talked about it with. I think it was somebody at work, but just talking about oh yeah, there's a girl at work who has, problems with her knees, and she was an athlete, and kind of probably would have been part of your interview group. But it was just fun. I look back on those projects, and I think there's something for the nose to the grindstone every day, just about the numbers, and there's something for the one-off. But I think there is something really special about those long-term multiple perspectives involved kind of projects.
The payoff.
And I think I think those are really cool, and I encourage everybody listening to go and watch the Y-Men, even if it's not the best student film you've ever seen. I don't want to see your stupid YouTube comments where you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Listen,
like when I see like middle school performances of like a jazz song and someone comments on the solo, like, it was good, but it could be better. Here are my notes. It's like, dude, they're 12.
Like,
cool.
Yeah. Watch it. You have to watch it with that perspective. This is somebody's final project, and that this is like a culmination of a lot of creative people working together on something. And anyways, go watch it and enjoy it.
Link in the description.
Yeah, Jacob, this is kind of a cool thing. I don't think I told any of you guys this, but for a couple of weeks after Wyman was previewed, random people in the school would be like, "Hey, you're Tyler!" Like,
are you serious?
I mean, we know everybody on school from sight, but these were people that I would never talk to, and they would just come up to me and like, "We love Tyler," and it was
I have no idea
I love that
means right now.
And Owen had the best part. I mean, you guys.
He totally
of the entire movie was impromptu acting by Owen.
Oh
I mean, the whole thing was a work of art.
Yeah.
But Owen's little piece there, that wasn't written in. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, the stumble into
it
the door.
Really was.
Yes.
I'm so proud of that. I thought that was great.
So good. Which goes to show that no matter how much extra hard work Jacob put into the writing, just having us around, having fun, just playing a part that was somebody else's like work and love allowed it to be something so much more than just written words, right?
Yeah, and that's honestly what like makes it so worth it. I mean, obviously I love the process of writing it and working with the actors and editing. Like, directing is kind of a newfound love I have from that experience. But just like you guys saying, "Hey, I watched it again," or what you said just now, Jacob, like it having the ability to have made that impact on someone, no matter how small, is so imperative to why I do it. Like, some of it's for my own satisfaction, but it's just being able to elicit a response from someone is so strong to me.
And what are you going to do right after this podcast? You're going to go write another episode of your story. And that's exactly what we're getting to tonight with our topic. It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has honestly been super therapeutic because it's basically just us venting.
Oh man.
A really cool thing I listened about in This American Life was
solid production.
Great podcast.
Yeah. Totally amazing.
Don't plug other podcasts on the show, please.
Okay, so
Brew Crew is the only podcast.
So not on a podcast, but on a just random conversation I was listening to. The guy was talking about doing micro tasks. Similar to Owen, what you're talking about, just doing like a small thing. And his idea was adding these micro tasks to your routine. So like an example was flossing a single tooth.
Listening to
this sounds silly, but
that's because
it would be such a small task that you're like, oh, that's super easy to do, and slowly over time you'd build it up until you're flossing your entire teeth.
Does it break up the monotony? What is the goal? Is it the little accomplishments? What is the end goal of something like that?
Yeah, so the little accomplishments, it allows you to like right now I'm in a place where tasks seem a lot harder than when they normally would be, and so doing these tiny tasks, you slowly build it up until it's part of your routine and you don't even think about it anymore. So for example, it's just like going and to the wood shop and just working like for 10 minutes on a bowl, or for Jacob's example is just writing at least 1 or 2 lines for a script that you're thinking about, and just over time building that into a larger part of your life where eventually it's writing a paragraph or writing a full page a day until it's not this difficult thing to get over.
So we start by flossing a tooth. I love it.
Flossing a tooth and then building from there.
Hold up.
It's basically like building.
Is that even possible? Can you floss one tooth?
Yeah, you can floss one tooth.
Well, Nate, you clearly have been flossing correctly then. Of course you can.
Which one tooth you floss? You're supposed to go in between teeth.
No, you go to the tooth in the very back.
Nah, that's just flossing your gum, dude. It's like going to the dentist. They floss you and they ask why your mouth is bleeding.
All right, everybody.
Well, you made it bleed.
Just for you guys to know, I don't floss my teeth.
You don't floss one tooth?
Not a single
floss. You have to do. Start with one.
Dude, by the way, shout out to Water Picks. Revolutionary.
Please sponsor us.
This is not hashtag ad, but I would like it to be.
Mr. Novak Esquire, you and my dad would truly be best friends. He is a water pick fanatic. Really? Oh my god, he lives and breathes water picks. Even 2 years after we've like graduated now, every single time we like end a call together, he's like, "Hey, like, do you like want a water pick? Like, they're like really amazing." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. Thank you so much." Anyway, we don't need to talk about water picks.
But we can if you want us to water pick.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Listen, we got some big audience. We got a big audience for you.
I think our last podcast got 10 views. So
did you really?
Wow.
So far.
There's 5 of us, and
That's insane.
Listen
we all
twice.
have at least a family member.
The MCU podcast is popping off. And by popping off, I mean like 27.
Oh,
really? That's pretty big
numbers.
I like this new direction of the podcast, that it's going into very like philosophical and like deep like conversations.
Oh yeah.
Like which Marvel movie is
we're
best?
We're still drinking, everyone out there. We're still drinking. It's a Brew Crew for a reason.
Yeah. We should shout out what we're drinking at the beginning of every podcast.
Oh yeah, we gotta keep on doing that.
Yeah.
I was doing just I guess posthumously. I was drinking a Collision Bend winter ale called 8 Crazy Nights. It was it's the last winter ale we had in the fridge, so time to restock.
What's the name of the 8th night?
Well, it's the
what is it in German? Achtnacht? Something.
I have no idea.
It's the that's the Adam Sandler SNL song about Hanukkah, right?
It's Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Bring out your yarmulke.
Yeah.
We should, in true Brew Crew fashion, we should finish up with a little bit of like normal, like what did you do this week?
Right.
Sort of. I don't know. Yeah, just for fun.
Okay. Jacob Novak.
I don't know any funny stories from this week. What did you do? Anything cool?
Oh, what did I do?
Oh gosh.
What did I do last night? Anyone know what that's from? It's Bo Burnham.
Oh, of course, Jacob. Yeah.
He had a song called "What Did I Do Last Night," and it's 3 seconds, and it just says, "I cried myself to sleep," and then it cuts off.
Oh god.
Nice.
That's fun.
Well, here I'll say this, and also shout out to Key and Kelly, because we both did the same thing today, which was get vaccinated.
Wow.
Hey.
Nice. Congrats, buddy.
Hey, that's amazing. Yeah, I saw the Snapchat.
Yeah. So, I got the first dose of the Moderna vaccine, and
So have you been
in about
microchipped? Do you feel
Yep.
funny? Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
I've got the first something that happened to me this week is I got my vaccine. I got vaccinated.
Wow, that's
That's
awesome.
so exciting.
Wow.
So
That's really
something
cool.
that happened to me this week is I got vaccinated.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
You know,
that's so
the
cool.
Yeah.
thing that happened for me is very
So
different. I'll
something
let you
that
finish.
happened to me this week is I got vaccinated.
This is the problem when you get vaccinated. No,
Sorry,
no,
I think the
so-
microchip was glitching out there for a minute.
So listen to this. You guys are gonna love this a lot. All right. So January 20th is my dog Mopsy's birthday. So she just turned 1 year old. Okay?
Shout out.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Congratulations.
And, so Winter loves festivities and decided to make Mopsy a cake. So she made this dog cake out of dog stuff, and it was this big cake. And so
I think that's
Mopsy
called
got to-
cannibalism, Nate.
Well, anyways, we had the neighbor's dog come over. They had a little dog party. Okay, so Mopsy ate the cake and everything was good and all until 1:30 in the morning when Mopsy woke me up and she shit her brains out. And so that's my week.
Nice.
Oh no.
I thought you guys would get a kick out of that.
That's hilarious.
I remember when you first got Mopsy, like you said, well, she pooped on my lap a few times, but other than that, she's been good.
Yes. Oh, she's a beautiful little golden though. So when the world's back to normal and y'all find yourself in the area,
Can't wait.
Oh,
Oh,
you
yeah.
bet.
have you over.
Oh, you best believe I'm coming for Mopsy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mopsy. Yeah.
Evan, how's the move going? Where are you going?
I am moving to Capitol Hill.
Wow.
Just fun.
What's your exact address?
Yeah.
He's wearing all black.
It is.
We're gonna post it on Parlor.
Joke's on you because
already has a
Parlor is extinguished. Hooray! Hallelujah!
I thought it got picked up by a Russian tech firm or
It
something.
probably did.
Did it really? Don't joke about that. That's
No, I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure that happened.
fuck me. Of course it did.
It's okay. It's definitely reduced.
Oh,
Anyways,
shit.
where are you going?
I can. Yeah, I'm moving. Whatever. It's great. No, I can tell you what happened this week. I biked down. I biked in downtown DC, and I can tell you what it.
Oh, no, it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like. But like, I can tell you what it was like. Like it was.
Was it?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was weird as fuck. Oh my god, yeah.
Mm.
So they had barricades across essentially all of the streets, and I would have to bike around like armed caravans and just National Guard with like like automatic weapons.
Wow.
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 And so the only street that was open was K Street, and like anytime you tried to go down like towards the White House or National Mall, you'd have to go through like checkpoints, and so I got stopped like twice.
Did you feel safe, or did you feel like that was
no.
overwhelming? No.
Oh,
Okay.
No. I just, I'm just someone that if I see anyone from military or just kind of in general, it just makes me uneasy. Like, just be honest.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then to see like lines of armed, like National Guard in full riot gear, just like marching across the street as the inauguration fireworks were going off. That was a weird image.
I was about to ask you, I saw the fireworks video on YouTube. Did you see it? Because it looked extraordinarily massive.
Nate, I am so angry because I was in downtown and I couldn't get to the National Mall. I was stuck, surrounded by like office buildings.
Yeah.
So they were all going off, and I was like riding around trying to get a view of them. I never saw them, but I was like,
if you haven't
that's
watched
terrible.
them, go onto YouTube and search it, because I've never seen fireworks so extravagant. They
are amazing.
It literally gave me chills. I mean, Lady Gaga, you love her to death already. Come on, fireworks, amazing. but the song and the actual fireworks, it doesn't compare. Like, it is. I know people are upset about how much money those fireworks cost, but holy Toledo, it is crazy. You definitely have to watch it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, on a minor point though, isn't it nice that we get to be upset about how much the fireworks cost? And that's what's
Absolutely.
what's upsetting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It
Anyways.
was like something off your shoulders.
I don't know, but it just
that's
looked
cool.
absolutely amazing. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job.
Dang, that's interesting though. It's cool to hear you from the perspective of somebody living in DC.
And
Yeah.
and it's weird too, because like during the daytime, even like during the nighttime, there would be people walking around in Georgetown, and they would like stop the National Guard and like take like selfies with them, and the National Guard would be like smoking cigarettes, like not like wearing like masks, and like
Wow.
it was just a weird
Was there a
image.
curfew?
No.
Okay.
There was
There was-
curfew on the night of the erection, as
Yes.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer said, but did you guys hear that?
Insurrection? No.
He called it the erection,
That's funny.
which is great.
Which is that's awesome. Yeah.
So, wow, that was a solid podcast.
Yeah,
Woo!
Uh-huh.
that was fun.
Jacob Novak,
Like I said, therapeutic.
therapeutic, absolutely. All right, well, I think our vote came to Jacob Latour. Jacob 2? Is that the number?
That's
Is that
correct.
the number?
No,
That's correct.
no,
I
it is
started
it's
something.
not. It is Jacob 1.
So Jacob Latour is going to take us in next week. Hopefully, we'll have more content with you. Let's give a good old clink here for the boys and the girls and the males and the females and everyone else out there. And I love you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.